This is the plaintiff, Alex Ruda. He says he bought a puggle puppy named Jasmine from the defendant, and that thing was sick when he got it home, and it also got his other dog sick. Now the defendant refuses to reimburse him the $3,000 he's out in vet bills, and that's why he's suing him right here, right now. These are the defendants, Mike and Greg. Mike says the plaintiff came into their shop stating they sold him a sick dog and that he had a letter from a vet to prove it. Firstly, New York law requires a second opinion. And secondly, they told the plaintiff if he was so unhappy, he should bring the dog back and they'd give him a refund, which he refused. Bottom line, they owe the plaintiff nothing because they sold him a perfectly healthy dog. The defendants have filed a countersuit for $150, the balance owed on the dog.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff bought a puggle puck that turned out to be very sick, but the defendant says that he could have gotten a refund if he returned the pug, but didn't. It's the case of the puggle struggle.
Okay. Alex Rueda?
Yes.
You are suing Greg and Mike's business, which you don't want us to mention the name of. Is it Pet Store?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. For $3,000, the cost of the puppy plus vet bills, because according to you, they sold you a dog that was unfit for sale.
Correct.
Tell me what happened.
Yeah, I went in there on 3/17 of this year. He said he had two puppies I could look at. So, it was me and my girlfriend.
What kind of dog?
Puggle.
What's a puggle? Cross between a what and a what? No? It's a
Pug
puggle?
and a beagle.
Say it again?
A pug and a beagle.
This whole cross, and we used to call them mutts. Now, All right, go ahead.
So,
Now they charge $2,000 for. How much did they charge you for the dog?
the original price was $1,150. I told Greg all I had was $1,000 on me. And, he said that the dog had a cold from transportation. It was stressed. He basically pushed for me to take the dog home that night when I said I didn't have the full amount of money. And
Why wouldn't you just say no? If the dog's sick, why would you take the sick dog?
I said, was it anything
And
to
why would
worry
you sell the sick dog?
Actually, the customer was told that the dog was on antibiotics, doxycycline, for a cold, and it wasn't finished with its antibiotics.
That's not answering me. Answer me. Why would you sell the sick dog?
The customer was insistent on taking the dog
Go
home.
take a hike. But you want his $1,000. That's the answer. And you want a dog. That's the answer. And both of you are going, I can't believe he sold me that dog. And you're saying, I can't believe he took that dog. Actually, you're both in the wrong in that. If the dog is sick, that's the last dog that I'm going to take into me. And you already had a dog,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what happens? You bring the dog home and what happens?
He did advise me to keep them separated. He said 2-3 days at the most.
And did you?
I did.
Then what?
I stay in the basement. I kept the dog in the crate. And it was Sunday. It was 2 days later. I brought them up to investigate one another because both of them were going crazy. They didn't have full contact. Later that night, my dog would not eat dinner. She would not drink water. This is the older dog. She started puking, all over the place the next morning. So he's saying that the dog had a cold.
Well, but all your big dog had done is sniff the dog. You're saying through a crate, so
Yes.
they didn't really have contact. You're saying.
No.
Okay, then your big dog is sick, and you
Yes.
take your dog to the vet, and what does the vet tell you?
Originally, we took the dog to his vet. He said that he would waive
Which dog?
The older dog, my older dog.
Your own dog you took to his vet. Why?
That's what he advised us to do.
Wait, because you called him to say, hey, my other dog is sick?
Yeah, I wanted to know exactly what the puppy had, what kind of sickness it was.
So then your dog goes to the vet, and the vet says, what's your dog got?
They were leaning towards parvovirus.
Okay, but I have to know because you're suing these people to pay your other dog's bills.
Well, at the time
So
that
give me everything you have from your doctor.
Your Honor, if the dog had parvo, it would be dead, and so would all the dogs in my store be dead. Did not
Since
have
when?
parvo.
You know how many parvo cases I've had? I mean, that doesn't necessarily...
Parvo is
parvo can be deadly, but if you catch it and you cure it, then they're not dead. So the evidence that they're alive is not evidence there's no parvo.
All right, well, there's no
you
parvo
understand,
on
like, what
any-
you just said cannot follow.
All right, there's no parvo on any report here.
Also, when I took my older dog, I brought a fecal sample and said that the puppy had tested positive for Giardia.
Wait, you brought a fecal sample of which dog?
The puppy.
The puppy.
Yes.
Okay, and?
She tested positive for parasites.
Okay, what parasites?
Giardia.
Okay. And what parasite did your big dog have? We don't know. They're leaning towards this.
it was
Did they
a
ever
virus.
say what your big dog had? Or not really?
No, they just said, you know, it was a virus, some type of virus that she had. Her blood count was way down.
Okay, negative for ova and parasite, including Giardia by zinc sulfate centrifugation method. And then underneath, this is very confusing. Underneath it says Giardia, positive.
Yeah.
What's it saying? Did you talk to the vet and ask them what the heck?
No, I didn't. I honestly just saw the Giardia with it saying positive next to it.
The description on that same diagnostics service says that the dog has a cold.
Does the plaintiff have to choose between the dog and the refund, or can he get both?
I believe he could get both. I don't think he should be able to choose,
Anybody disagree with that? Do you have to choose one or the other?
Just choose one.
But you can't have both.
You can have just. I think that dog needs more attention at that time.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
It says diagnosis kennel cough, treated with Clavamox and something else.
She actually just got over pneumonia. So if it was a cold that they claimed to be kennel cough, it turned into pneumonia, and she's been on prescriptions ever since. I have copies of them. I have the actual bottles with me here today.
When you contact them, what do they say to you?
I went back and forth with Greg, you know.
You're Greg?
Yes. For the most part, he seemed sincere and genuine about, you know, actually caring, but kept saying it's not his puppy that did it or that's sick. He said he sold me the dog with the cold, that was it, that it couldn't have gotten sicker past that point. So, I mean, at that point, I started going the legal route.
Okay, did anybody ever ask you to bring the dog back?
No, Mike said when I served him with the unfit for sale that I had to give the dog back, that the dog was technically his because it was unfit for sale.
Okay. Did you tell him he has to return the dog?
I said, bring the dog back so I can get a second opinion with my vet. I'm entitled to that. And if it is indeed unfit for sale, you get your money back and I get the dog back. It goes back to the breeder and I get a refund.
That's not the law. What you're saying isn't the law. You are entitled to a second opinion. Yes, that's one option, that he returns the dog. The other option is he loves the dog and he wants to keep the dog. You know that. You know what New York State law is. In fact, why doesn't your bill of sale have that? Don't you? Isn't there a requirement in your state that your bill of sale tell them their rights or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Where's your bill of sale?
The gentleman was coming back in a few days to pick up all his paperwork.
Except for that he took $1,000 and you gave him a dog. So the bill of sale
but it was in good faith.
should still, I don't know what in good faith, it's not good faith. It sounds to me like bad faith. When you're not telling the guy what his rights are and then you're lying about what his rights are to him. You not only don't have him sign that he knows what his rights are, which the law requires you to hand out in your state, you also don't, when the guy tells you we have a problem, you say, give me the dog back. Did he ever tell you, bring the dog to my vet, I want my vet to have a second opinion?
He did when I brought the unfit for sale.
And then what did you do?
He said, I want a second opinion. He's like, I'm entitled to a second opinion.
And then what did you do?
I said to a mutual vet, yes. I said, I'm not bringing the dog back to your vet.
Why not?
It was run down and disgusting. I brought my older dog there, and there was a Windex on the floor in the examination room, and there was also used wee-wee pads on the floor in the waiting room.
Okay, so your testimony is that he asked for you to bring the dog to a vet of his choosing, and you refused because you didn't like the place.
Yes, but he didn't push forward past that. I didn't know it was a right, you know, to do that once it was seen by a vet already. So.
Have you looked at the law since then?
No.
Before coming here, you didn't look at the law? I don't make anybody nervous. In the event that a pet dealer wishes to contest a demand for a refund, such dealer shall have the right to require the consumer to produce the animal for examination by a licensed vet designated by such dealer. He gets to pick his vet. You get to pick your vet, he gets to pick his. But once you deny him the remedy that the law allows him, you can't avail yourself of the law.
I didn't deny. I said a mutual.
I'm not taking him to that vet. That's denying him. It's his vet. He gets to pick what vet he wants you to take the dog to. You're there. You don't have to release the dog to him. You don't have to return the dog to him. You go with your dog to the vet. You're admitting to me that the guy told you, that's my vet. And you're like, no, not taking the dog back there. There was Windex on the floor. You have a counterclaim against him for $150. Seriously? You gonna make me go through that?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I don't know if you have, the gentleman also called the SPCA, and the SPCA came in
And gave you a
passing. Every
clean
dog was
bill of
healthy.
health.
Yes.
Okay. Any of the other dogs have anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right. My verdict in this case is for the defendant in the plaintiff's suit against the defendant. And I guess as a matter of goodwill, you'll let the 150 go? 'Cause
Yes, Your Honor.
He ended up spending like $500 or something. All right. Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The plaintiff has just heard the defendant win this case, and you couldn't prove yours, made some mistakes there.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on this verdict?
I don't think it was fair, you know, I mean, it's the dogs that are paying the price in this matter, so.
What would you have done differently now that you've heard the judge's ruling?
Looked more into the law. I think I had a solid case. I mean, unfit for sale from my personal vet, I mean, it's what they do every day, so. You know, she ruled in their favor, and
Yep.
can't do nothing about
All
it.
right. Okay. Good luck with the dog.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So come on out here. Your feeling on this?
It's unfortunate that his dog was sick, but he didn't follow any of our advice. What his dog had nothing to do with the cold that the dog left the store with.
You think it's just coincidence his dog got home and the other dog got sick? Just
Yeah,
series of
he even
coincidences?
admitted in there they didn't have any contacts. For his dog to get Giardia, his dog would have had to have gotten near the feces of the little dog, which he says it didn't.
All right. Harvey, what do you got here?
Just so you know, these laws about buying dogs at pet stores vary from state to state, so you should check online.